Brad 1, Brad 2. Welcome to Mando Night Live. I'm Candace from the Geeky Waffle, and with me are...
I'm Maggie from Let's Talk About Star Wars and the Star Wars Friends podcast.
I'm Arzu from the Geeky Waffle and arzud2.com.
I'm Devore from A Larger View of the Force, a Star Wars podcast.
I'm Brad. I'm from the Friends of the Force podcast.
And I'm also Brad. I'm from Twitter.
Okay.
We're all from Twitter.
And I'm already cutting people off, and we just started.
That was amazing, though.
Yeah,
that was great. Comic timing.
Yes, exactly. So this is chapter 15, The Believer. Are you guys a believer?
Oh,
In
yeah.
so many,
Yep.
So many
Definitely.
ways, so many things.
so many different ways.
I know
How
what
I
you guys are
become a
believing
believer.
in.
Me and all the monkeys are believers.
Us?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just go straight into the story.
Brad
Oh
and
my
I-
god!
We have
Sorry.
it.
Tyrion, I want them
Sorry.
to slowly get them into it, kind of just
We've been living there all day.
Right, we'll get there.
yeah. Some of the DMs I've been getting from them have been concerning. So let's just go straight into. So they got to pick up this dude. Surprisingly, a better actor than I thought he was.
Shockingly good actor.
Can we talk about the fact that he's got the same belt buckle as Ahsoka?
Oh, yeah.
They all
They
shot
Maybe
only-
they
him.
just sell it at the Galactic Gap or something.
They only need
Yeah.
one.
Cap.
Like the Macy's.
Okay, so
Anyways.
somebody comes and picks him up. Let's just say that. Okay. And we at first get to see someone's new. Yes, thank you, Maggie. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, let's go straight into that right at the beginning, too.
Yes, since we're talking
By
about
the
that
way-
person.
Maggie, how much are we at now?
We are at 18,450.
Yes, and we're trying for 20,000 by the end of the season, which
So
is
next Sunday.
next Sunday. Time has gone by so fast in every way.
Seriously.
It's crazy. But let's talk about this guy's. Yes, we all are, Connor. Let's talk about this guy. He comes out
Yes.
first.
Oof.
That's Slave One. What do
Can
you
we
guys think?
I loved this scene because I loved how Miggs was like, "Oh, I thought you were that other guy."
Yeah, I think Mayfeld may quite possibly be the first person in the galaxy to be relieved to see Boba Fett. I don't think anyone else has ever been relieved.
He was like, "Oh, I can take you. You're fine."
You're not the other Mando.
I really appreciated the new paint job on the armor, but how he still left the dents in the
Yes.
helmet.
That was
Yeah.
the Cad Bane dent, right? From Clone Wars?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a glow up of what this armor was. I mean, you look behind Maggie and you can see what it looked like before, right?
It was not so good. It had seen some wear and tear.
So I like to imagine he just has an airbrush studio on Slave One.
No, this is
ready
my
to go.
theory.
Okay.
He went to the Navarro's Michaels. While
So
While Din was running errands.
yes, exactly.
so this morning I researched because I was like, I remember something from one of the Expanded Universe books. And so I went back and I found that in the Legends of the Force book, one of the Jason and Jaina books, they mentioned that Mandos change the colors of their armor depending on what they're following the path of at that time, and green is duty. So I wondered if there was some
Oh, wow.
deep cut that John and Dave were doing with that, and him being
Given how
bound to
he's
his
been
duty to Din.
I gotta
That's
say, I like this look more than OG Boba. Not just with the paint job, but also the black tunic and the kilt thing that he's got going on.
Oh, yeah.
I really, really like that look.
I agree.
He's a fashionable man.
Yeah, last week when he slaps his armor on real quick and he's still got that lovely black, skirt, like I was just like, man, get it. Just go get it.
Seriously.
And
Well, I
then
think part of it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like part of it too is it seems like more of a hybrid look between who he's been on Tatooine for like the last couple of years and then like who he previously was, because I think he's kind of proven that he doesn't need the armor to be Boba Fett. At this point, it's kind of just an additional aesthetic for him that he that kind of represents his honor, his family honor, and his dad.
Right.
But I like how he blends those two parts of himself together with it.
I agree. I like that. I like that he still has like the tunic pieces and stuff. It looks nice.
He's a
Like
fashion.
once he's
a
back in his
fashion
comfort zone, he's not ready to like put all of what's happened to him on Tatooine aside. Like it has still become such a part of him that he's gonna keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like that
And that's
comparison.
what makes him sexy
Yes,
now.
Nora, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brad.
Seriously. I want to take a quick second to say that I was I'm not really excited to have Boba Fett back.
Same.
And the thing, right?
Yeah.
And
That's what we were talking
then
about last week.
and then when Mr. Morrison showed up and did what he did, I was like, I'm done. I'm sold. I'm gonna have to buy all the Black Series figures, and I'm gonna have to go get Slave One as a Lego set now, because obviously Christmas is ruined with the Razor Crest, but that's fine.
Yes.
Yep. There we go. Thank you for having that ready. Oh, jeez, you are on it. Well done.
$400.
Oh my gosh.
23,000 unhappy customers.
Oh God. But no, I am super excited about this Boba and where he seems to be in his journey at this point.
He seems like a good guy.
He
He's
does.
interesting
He does,
now.
yeah.
I
He
also
has
want to know,
depth.
where did he pick up the skills to turn Fennec into a robot? Like, where did he pick up those awesome
Camino.
hydraulic?
He had to have picked it up in Camino.
It's fantastic, right? Like,
My theory is still Dr. Mandible. We met a doctor.
I do
early
like
this
that.
season.
yeah,
I think
On
it was Dr.
Tatooine.
Mandible.
I do like that.
you're not wrong.
We got to see more of Slave One inside.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
our
just
first
an
look.
That shot is just amazing of the whole thing turning.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite shots, maybe in the entire show.
I had big Firefly vibes on that.
Yes.
Just
Thank
the engine
you.
room rotating and stuff. And I was like, thank goodness, because in the toys that I had as a kid, there was no room inside Slave One. So this is cool.
Wait, I just noticed in that shot, the OG jetpack is sitting there behind Mayfeld.
Yeah.
You see it right
Oh,
there?
yeah.
So he's
He's a
got two
cloner.
jetpacks.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
That would make sense because his one from Cobb Vanth was damaged from Han
Right.
Solo. I was surprised that he fixed up that huge gash in it and painted over it. So maybe this would be like a backup for him.
Yeah, scarves are in this year for Star Wars.
So they find out they have to get to a terminal, and Biggs is like, "We got to go to Morak."
Morak. That's
And
a fun name.
like, so Maggie, Arzu, and I have been saying like all season, Den is gonna have to take off his helmet.
Yeah.
All season, we have
season.
been theorizing this.
Because
And-
ever since he saw
Trying to find that
these
photo.
people, yep, and we got a little hint. We got some chin action there.
Some Chin Jaren.
Chin Jaren. Oh, them having their little breath together. There have been like
Rest
hints
in
of
peace,
it.
Razor Crest.
Yes. So when they're like, okay, well, someone can't go because they're in part of the rebellion, and then
I
I love
love
how he's like, Boba Fett, can you go? And he's like,
They might recognize me.
like, gee, I wonder why. Is
My-
it
My favorite thing about that is that went over Din's head. Like,
Yeah,
he doesn't know what
He-
clone
he
troopers
has
are.
No idea.
He's just like, okay, I guess
doesn't
you're
know.
wanted like they are. So
Yeah, exactly. That was
That's
probably
fine.
what he was thinking.
it's like the exact same level of problem.
it's just like when he met Bo-Katan and Ahsoka, like he has no knowledge like
No.
we do.
Mhm.
And again, I'll say he is the perfect character for new audiences getting into Star Wars because he knows nothing, they know nothing, and everyone is learning together. And I think it's great.
Exactly.
And I loved how that scene played out with all of them being like nosies.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. But then Din notices that they're wearing helmets. So he's like, close enough. So there's Din finally out of the armor. I know everybody's been wanting that, right? Well, Maggie knows
Not like this.
Yeah, not like this.
Not what I meant.
Ooh, can I get philosophical in today's episode like I did last night?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, like, this whole thing is his armor is being stripped away, right, Maggie? Go for it.
Exactly. So I have been theorizing this, like, entire season about how his armor is being cracked, his proverbial armor. So not exactly the actual physical armor he's wearing, but that armor he's built as a Mandalorian. And so this guy back here put the first cracks in it, like the first fracture, and then Bo-Katan put the first, like, chip in it. And now we literally see him have to remove his armor to follow this new cause that he believes in, which is saving his child. And we even hear somebody call him like his kid.
Yeah, your kid.
Yep.
Your kid. Like it's no longer like that cute little green pet that you keep. Like he has committed to something. He believes in something other than the way. And they literally took his armor off, which is like just the best like visual like illusion that they could give.
Also, like, I think he's, like, decided I'm a father first, and then I'm a Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's putting this above everything else.
We love it.
He is definitely officially a father. Congratulations, Den. It's a boy.
Yeah.
And he's green. That's your kid.
Yeah, and like sort of to that point, I remember last week after we got the Tython episode, there were like a couple people I saw on Twitter like wondering about like, well, what was the point of the Ahsoka episode? Because like we get to Tython and then like Grogu does his meditating thing and no Jedi shows up. So like, was that just a pointless excursion? But it wasn't a pointless excursion precisely for that reason that you just said, Candace, which is that like the whole season up to that point, he had been treating Grogu as this job he needed to get done. Like, I got to get this kid to the Jedi, drop him off, and then I'll be on my way. In order for him to make that leap to like the father, he needed Ahsoka there in that moment to tell him like, look, dude, he's attached to you. You're his father. Wrap your head around that.
Like, wake up, dude, and smell the fatherhood.
Yeah. So that leap wouldn't have happened without the
Ahsoka episode.
The Ahsoka excursion. Yeah.
I just think people have a problem when the episode is more about Din and Grogu to an extension, but mostly Din sort of developing his character. They're like, well, nothing happened. I'm like, nothing exploded, but something happened.
Character-driven episodes are
like
beautiful.
The character jumped miles ahead of where he was before. Now he's accepted his role as a father. He knows Grogu's attached to him. He's attached to Grogu. He sort of knows that he can't train him as a Jedi, but does he even want that? All of that happened in the Ahsoka episode.
Yeah, exactly.
But nothing exploded, so nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this is the culmination of that. This is him like fully committing to the bit. Like, this is my new life.
Yeah, there's a great moment in the episode during the fight on top of that transport. He's changed out of his Beskar and into the garbage Imperial armor, right? And the first dude who comes up to him, he tries to fight him the way that he normally would fight people in his Beskar, and that guy smacks him, and literally the entire thing shatters, right? And then it just does it again, and it shatters. And so emotionally, we see that he is coming to a realization that what he thought he was to Grogu and to the world is not true anymore. Mm-hmm. Physically, we're seeing that he physically has to remove his armor, and he can't fight the way he used to fight. Yep. He's if I'm going to go all hero's journey for a second, he's in the abyss right now. He's at the bottom, and he's about to undergo that full transformation, that Dagobah cave that he has to experience in order to be ready to tackle what's coming next. And he's emotionally there, he's psychologically there, and then we see physically he's there. He's lost the Razor Crest, and as far as we know, every physical piece of stuff that he has, except for what's on his back. And then now in this episode, we see him have to give up his armor and go into battle against, like, these aliens just keep coming. Like this, how many transports do they have?
It was like a bad video game. Like,
And
you know,
really
like you
wave
gotta
after
keep it
wave.
steady, but at the same time, you're being
When-
attacked.
Like Vader Immortal when the stormtroopers come like on
Right?
those literal same platforms in the tunnel.
Yes.
And, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has played it, but it
Yes.
was the same thing, and that's all it made me think of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they all show up and they've all got thermal detonators at the end. They're like, we all just carry these. And not just the one guy in the previous transport. Everyone had them.
And then, did you
Yeah.
guys ever think you'd be happy to see TIE fighters?
Oh,
No.
never.
It shocked me.
Oh my god.
Brad.
Can we talk about the music in that moment?
Oh,
Yes.
Like, it's way
Ludwig
more-
is killing it.
Yeah, I clocked
Yeah.
it's way more orchestral than Ludwig usually is.
Mhm.
So like when it happened, and then you get it all the way through to like the troopers firing on the people, like it hit me. Like it's really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
think this is
some-
the best music that Ludwig's done all season. There's a lot of also
Agreed.
there was also a lot of music that came from his older chapters, some beats from chapter 2 and chapter 6. So I think there's a particular working relationship that Rick probably has with Ludwig in terms of like, this is the style I'm going for. This is this is the tone. Like,
Yeah.
let's find that exact rhythm that we need to kind of convey that.
What did you guys think of the? Well, it was mostly a one-sided mixed conversation they had in the truck about what you believe in and being able to sleep at night.
It's
And-
DJ. It's DJ from The Last Jedi.
Bill
Burr
exactly what I have. Yeah.
is the DJ analog here. It's and you see it when they pass through the town. I loved that moment when they pass through the town and they've got the kids looking at them and stuff, and it's like they don't care if you're Imperials or if you're New Republic. Like you're invaders taking their stuff. And Bill Burr's character in that moment is like, you blow them up today, they blow you up tomorrow, And I was
It's
just
all
like,
a machine partner.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But what I do like about it is, unlike DJ in Last Jedi, who's just like, well, it is what it is, and joins the Empire because they've not the Empire, the First Order, because they've got the upper hand in that moment.
Yeah.
By the end of the episode, Bill Burr's like, okay, to these people it is what it is, but to me, I know where that line is. So
Yeah.
then he blows up the two tankers. So he's
Yeah.
like, it may not make a difference to them what side I'm on, but I know what side I'm on, and I choose this side.
I have to say, the most shocking
love
thing
that.
for me was realizing that the reason why Miggs is such a butt is because he hates himself. He hates what he's been involved in, and it's that self-loathing. And if I make myself the most miserable human that everybody hates, then no one will get close to me, and no one will know that I'm actually really not doing well. And I think that was like, honestly, Bill Burr, like, who knew he could act? Because you felt so much. And I mean, I think a lot of that credit goes to Rick's writing and Rick's
Yes.
directing, because he has pulled out some phenomenal performances over these last 2 seasons. And I can't believe that Bill Burr stood out, like, genuinely.
And I feel like Miggs is trying to like show Mando that like, oh no, you're actually on my level. You have these traditions and stuff like that, but you're willing to give them up, just like everybody else is, for what they love or what they care about.
And he hit him where he was fragile too, which I thought was really interesting in terms of like the narrative that I've seen over these last few episodes of like really drawing in on Din's transformation. He was hitting him right where he had weak spots, essentially, and like literally had weak spots because he had just got himself beat up.
Okay, so what do you guys think? He says, if you were born on Mandalore, you believe one thing. If you're born on Alderaan, you believe something else. But guess what? Neither of them exist anymore. We all know what happened to Alderaan. But do you guys think Mandalore being gone is just like Imperial propaganda? Or is it really gone?
Well, even Din doesn't think Mandalore's there anymore. So I'm not entirely. I don't think we know what happened. Maybe we do, and I'm just forgetting. But I feel like it's so fractured now in that space since we saw it last that the planet may still be there, but it doesn't exist for all intents.
Yeah, I thought it more like
Yeah.
that it's
like
like
within the.
yeah, that like government society has collapsed or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like
physically there,
Bo-Katan.
what makes
It's like
Mandalore
Bo-Katan
Mandalore
said.
anymore.
Because Bo-Katan pointed out that people are trying to keep the Mandalorians separated. So I think some of it's probably propaganda and some of it's probably like a lot of fractions. It seems like the Mandalorians broke apart into a lot of different groups and like separated and did their own thing, which I think was kind of hinted at because like some of the Mandalorians went to work for the Empire. And so I think there's still that division, and that's probably what's keeping them all scattered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was thinking.
Ooh.
I was thinking that the imps should have been really sus of Din and Migs because they were so freaking capable.
They're good shots.
Yeah, they're the only transports that made it.
I was surprised Mayfeld didn't put his helmet back on. I was like, why do you still have it off?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
wondering
right?
that too.
It's like, it's not very sneaky anymore.
Yeah.
But no, I think in regards to the Mandalore conversation, I do think, yeah, it's probably partly propaganda because like Bo-Katan said, we're stronger together. And I think the Empire probably recognizes, especially after the Siege of Mandalore, like what a powerhouse they are.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't know what happened during the Night of 1,000 Tears, which is that event that allegedly Moff Gideon was a part of, and I'm sure that's maybe where Bo-Katan lost the Darksaber in some sense. But I think it's something. I know Hope just said too. Project Cinder, that could be a possibility as well. We just don't know, but it's probably just a desolate wasteland with no form of life. And I do think too we'll actually get there at some point with the show.
Probably.
I think that's the end game for it.
I mean, Mandalore was already like in that. What is it? Like a the
biosphere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you destroyed so much of the planet with war and everything already. So really, how much of it was left?
Yeah, if you think about what Mandalore looks like when in the Clone Wars, when we see it, you see the cities and you see this, you see civilization and stuff. When we go to it in Rebels, it's literally nothing.
Yeah.
Now we can make the argument that we're in the outskirts or something like that, but I think that's symbolic of what they're saying has happened with the various factions of Mandalorians splitting up, some of them working for the Empire. We know that Sabine worked for the Empire for a while and helped develop weapons and stuff, and that they were definitely testing them on Mandalorians.
Yeah.
But realistically, if I was the Empire, Mandalorians are like roundly considered the greatest warriors in the galaxy. They're the people that I would want to keep split and potentially wipe out as much as possible. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear like an Operation Cinder or even something well before that, getting into early New Hope, Rogue One territory to say that they got nipped in the bud. Because we don't have a lot of Mandalorian stuff in the original trilogy or even in those original trilogy story timelines.
Theoretically, we could see it in Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be a period of time pre A New Hope that could introduce what was going on for the Mandalorians, which would be really neat.
Well, they do love tying things together, but that's too much Mandalorian.
Every new thing that they've
Mandalorian.
just announced is all about Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Kenobi, Kenobi loved a Mandalorian, so that's that there.
The team flashbacks. Thank you very much, please.
Ahsoka fought it's all connected to Mandalore. We're all bringing it back.
I think just with the reveal of Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka, I think how they're kind of culminating to a point at this one climactic event. My speculation is it's going to be some sort of Avenger style take back Mandalore pinnacle episode that's like an hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of bringing all the forces together, because I think like what the show is about, and especially this episode that kind of hit the nail on the head, was like, what does it mean to be a Mandalorian? Like, what rules do you actually follow? Is it not taking your helmet off, or is it not showing your face? Because those are two different things, right? That's what Mayfeld asks him. And I think Din is kind of trying to figure out what way he wants to live, not the way that he was originally taught.
Mm-hmm.
And then taking that kind of newfound freedom, kind of breaking from his own chains that he's been bound by his whole life. Now go take back his home planet and like establish that way, whatever way that he and maybe Bo-Katan and whoever else want to establish. Hopefully still Boba Fett if they don't kill him off, because that would suck.
Yeah.
Please don't kill my boy off.
Maggie's like, yes, can I have it, please?
Yes, please. I think Arzu is too.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're both like, Boba Fett? Never in my life did I ever think that I would be asking for more Boba Fett.
Like,
oh my god.
Before last Friday, if
Mandalorian,
you said that like Boba Fett was coming, but like we're gonna kill him off, I'd be like, good, because no more Boba Fett. Now I'm like, if you do anything to my precious cinnamon roll, I will, like, I don't even know what I'll do. So
I'll read sad fan fictions.
Yeah, we've been deciding that we ship these two now.
Yep.
Yeah, we just made
Look
this
at that
decision.
look they're giving each other.
Can we talk about Hannah's comment? Boba and Finnick ruling Mandalore together.
Thank you, Hannah.
Actually, I do want to make a comment about that, though. Just the idea of like Boba. I think that we found out his dad was a foundling last week. If we're talking about maybe a future ruler of Mandalore, how poetic would it be for maybe Din to be the next ruler of Mandalore? Because we know Almec, who is not a reliable narrator of any sort. I don't know who would say that. You'd have to be pretty stupid to say that, honestly. But
and to put it in a tweet like multiple times, like
multiple times and defend it. But
down on how wrong you are.
Almec was so against Jango Fett because really Jango Fett was a foundling, and Almec kind of is the sort of Voldemort-like character who's like, that's a mudblood. That's somebody who's not pure blood Mandalorian. Yeah. So I think for the end game of the series to be a kind of not pure, quote unquote, pure blood Mandalorian, somebody who's a foundling to actually rule the planet, that's like, what better way could you end the series and kind of rewrite all the old traditions? And I think that's something we're trying to do in terms of taking new risks and kind of taking the hammer to what we know and defying our expectations. That's the way to do it.
Can I jump
off
of
Mandalore should be run by a himbo.
Well, I was going to say, can I jump off of that onto a less serious, profound note and just say that if they do end the series that way, we get Pedro Pascal in really nice
robes,
regal armor.
Can it be a something Game of Thrones style robes?
That would be beautiful.
I just want to know if they're going to have to go find all 7 Mandalorian Horcruxes in order to reunite Mandalore.
No,
you have to resurrect Almec.
Yeah.
The Infinity Stones.
No, that's how we tie it all back to Revan. Okay,
so
are you ready to talk about Revan Horcruxes?
Are you ready to talk about what happens inside when Migs and Dan? Oh, okay, so
Let's
Maggie
go.
created something to show you about this moment.
Oh
no!
What's Gibby thinking about? Tonight the music seems so loud. I wish that we could lose this crowd. What's Gibby?
You better go viral. Don't let it flop.
It's going up tomorrow night.
Oh man!
Wow.
Maggie just live shot inside everybody's head.
No notes. Yeah. Perfect. No notes.
That's it. That's the episode.
Thirst warnings on these episodes. Like, you know how HBO is like, there's some nudity in this episode of what you're watching?
Well, this is nudity for a Mandalorian dinner, right?
It'd be like, there is some Pedro Pascal face in this episode before you watch. Just,
So,
prepare yourself.
There was this moment right here
I
where
thought it was coming off.
Yeah, and we're like, is it going to kind of come off?
But I'm so glad that I know it was under duress because they needed to do a thing, but I'm so glad that the helmet came off by his choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
He made the choice.
I love that he got to keep that freedom.
And the other thing that I love about the helmet coming off when it did is because it's part of this sort of motif that I've noticed in the season where rather than leaning into moments of narrative tension, they actually subvert or cut against it. So the Ahsoka episode does this really well. So we get to the episode and we're thinking okay, we're going to see Ahsoka, but it's going to be this big dramatic moment. Maybe it won't happen until the end. And then it's first 10 seconds, bam, she shows up.
There she is.
Same with Grogu's name. We think, that's going to be some big build up or reveal, or maybe Din's going to name him.
Grogu.
And then it's basically so anyway, Grogu and I were talking, and then we get the name. And that's the same with the helmet removal. We were everyone was speculating, maybe it's going to happen in the finale. It's going to be this moment where Din and Grogu connect, and he takes off the helmet to show him the face, and instead it just happens in this cafeteria because he has to
still happen that way.
It could still happen that way. Yeah,
that would be a different type of choice to remove his helmet in a different kind of, I guess.
Oh yeah, and also just because of how this year's gone, seeing anyone's chin is
Look at that face. Look at that beautiful face.
And just he tries to get scanned because the reason he has to take off the helmet is because they need to scan a face, and he tries with a helmet on, and then he's like, "Oh shit," and has to take it off.
He's a himbo.
Is he? Yeah, right. Because he's an idiot. Is really what it is. Right?
Yes, he is. Thank you.
It was totally explained to him before he walked in the room. You're going to have to take your helmet off at this specific moment, and then it seems like the machine might explode. And he's like,
I guess I have to take it off now.
Was he thinking he could see
my
through?
face? Helmet is my face. Therefore,
okay,
the helmet is fine.
I need to talk about this because I am very confused and I want to know if I am also stupid. How do they know what his face looks like? Why does the scan work for him? He's not.
I think it's just to record it.
Maybe it just needs to like record who is accessing the terminal.
Yeah, that's what I took it as.
And then it can be audited later.
Okay, because he was like, they can't scan me because they'll know me.
No,
Or
he's
like
not
he
doing
can't
it.
He
He
can't.
can't.
kinda like-
the commanding officer was sitting there and he will see.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so
But
when
see
you
if
go
he
to a
took his
bank-
helmet.
You know, when you go into a bank, you can't like wear a hat because you know the cameras and stuff. You have to like take your hat off. It's
Yes.
kind of the same thing.
It's
Yeah.
actually a droid-proof machine. So like they want to see that there's a human face behind there, right?
There
so
you
like
go.
R2
Imperials
walked
are
up there, they'd be like,
anti-droid.
nah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I was like, because I know that Moff knows what his real name is, and so I was like, has he been scanned some other point in his life, and like that's why he's in their system? Because like you'd think he's like witness protection. They don't know what he looks like.
No, because he hasn't taken off his helmet since he was a kid.
Exactly.
So his face.
Well, I would have
changed
thought
a
he'd
lot.
be like worried if he was on their list. Like I
Yeah.
can't go in there
Yeah.
because they'll recognize me. But then he's also stupid, so like maybe not. But
he's not
He's
very
But
not
I
nice.
think
stupid.
you
He's
need
a
to
himbo.
right, he's
That's
a
what we've
himbo, so maybe he
decided.
wouldn't put two and two together. But like I think this was just they need to make sure it's a human using the terminal.
He's basically Chris
Mandalorian.
Hemsworth in Ghostbusters.
Except
Yeah.
smarter than that.
Is he
just,
though?
just a tiny bit.
Just a smidge.
I would like I don't know. I would trust Din to like house sit for me. I wouldn't trust Chris Hemsworth to do that. Chris Hemsworth from Ghostbusters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of interesting tweets, and also something that I was noticing when I watched this for like the third time. Just this scene is exactly Cheryl. This is the way he moves his head, and he
So
doesn't make his
perfect.
own eye contact. Pedro Pascal, chef kisses this performance. It's so short, but it's so much.
It's
in
so
this.
good.
Wait, have we arrived at Brown Eyes?
Yes.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
arrived at Brown Eyes.
Can we
Brown
also
eyes.
talk
Brown
about
eyes.
how Migs only saw his face for like a few seconds, and it's already like, I know the color of those eyes.
Because he gets lost in them right away.
Yeah.
Because Migs is only human.
Because we all do.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm certain that Migs is probably like, why would you cover up that face?
Right.
That's
But
Yeah.
what Migs is
That's what I was
human.
waiting for.
when you meet the person you want to be with for the rest of your life, you know it right away as soon as you see their face. And that's where Migs is at, right? That helmet comes
Migs
off.
is all of us.
Right. So Maggie, what I need from you next to add to that TikTok that you made is I need a reaction shot of Migs turning around slowly and seeing him. And then just freeze on that, right? Because that's where Migs is at in his heart, right?
So to be a
That's what plays
Mandalorian,
in
do you
Migs'
have to
head.
be like super hot? Because like every single Mandalorian we have seen.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a requirement.
Yeah.
I'm
So
still not over Coast
That's
Guard
why Almec's
Goblin.
so bitter, because Almec's not hot.
Yeah,
This is true.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
that's what makes him the villain.
Yeah, be like,
No,
you're
he's
not
a good
real
guy.
Mandalorian.
Almix, the most pure, most moral person in the entire galaxy. I
Brad,
want
I'm
to make
gonna
one
have to-
comment.
The most reliable narrator.
I'm gonna have to call you
You're gonna-
another B name.
You're gonna have to
Not
cut all
on
my
YouTube.
cards. I want to make one other comment. Haven't seen a lot of people talk about this, but I know like in chapter 5, Mando nicknames Baby Yoda Bright Eyes, and
Yes.
now Din's Brown Eyes. I just thought that was
Oh.
an interesting
Yeah.
thing. I haven't really decided what or if it means anything, but I just kind of think it's
I
interesting.
loved it.
Baby Yoda also has brown eyes, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
They both got their brown eyes together.
Yeah.
Like father, like son.
You see the same eyes in different people, you know. Maybe that's the thing
Don't
that we're
you
looking
dare.
for. Din and Grogu are lost souls.
They
Yes,
are.
I love what Cheryl's saying, like, here is like, that's what I was thinking too. Like,
I love we clicked it at the same time.
I know. And it's like, stop. This is the first time Maggie and I both have control. And it's like, how do we do this? Yeah, like, he doesn't know how his face should work.
He's
With
like
social
all of
things.
us.
Yeah, I
Next
know.
year, when we can go out in public without masks on again, and we're like,
But imagine doing that for like 20 years. I'm like, don't actually, because then we'll all get like super depressed.
don't do that.
But the fact, like, he's not having to hide his face or even like it's when I was walking across somewhere and I was wearing my mask and I smiled at someone and they just looked at me weird because they didn't know I was smiling. Thought, okay, it's just things like that.
Well, it's like we were saying this, I think, yesterday, that he kind of does this little like lip twitch before he puts his helmet back on, but it's not really a smile.
Yeah, it's like.
And then we're going like, it's because
he doesn't know how to.
He probably doesn't smile anymore because nobody sees it. Like he barely laughs because
Arzu, he was laughing yesterday for the last week.
He was laughing with Grogu for the first time because he's getting ready to take that helmet off so his son can see his face. So he needs to like warm up and laugh a little bit. But like he doesn't smile at people because nobody's going to see it. Kind of like us wearing masks now and not really having reason to smile
I'm an idiot.
in public. So I just thought those keys like I feel like I should smile.
Yeah,
I don't really know how. And
like
then he,
these facial muscles don't know how to work.
Like a little
also,
twitch. But
I really love when Hess was talking to him and he was just standing like really stiff and really still. And all I could think of was like a child being like, if I stand really still, my parents won't find me and they're talking to me, but if they can't see me, I'll just stand really still. Like he was just so precious.
Someone
like,
on Twitter
if he has his helmet on and he's like standing really still, then it's terrifying because you have no idea what's going on his face.
Yeah.
But it's completely different when you can see the fact that he's just like, don't move, don't move.
He just looks so confused.
It's just that himbo energy.
He's the Alan Grant of that moment. He's like their imperial vision is based on movement. If I just stand here,
Yeah, it's they're like T-Rexes.
right. And then Bill Burr's in the background waving a flare around, and he's like, "Stop it!"
It's just that like he didn't have like any like ID ready or like a name, like a fake name.
He's not good at impromptu conversation.
What's your designation? No. Like even I know what's your designation means, and he's like transport crew. I'm like that wasn't the answer.
I think I'm just so used to watching Rebels, and they just have this like fake identities ready, or like Hera has a way to mask the ghosts and stuff like that, and she's just like on it, and I'm like, you need some lessons, Dan. You're a bounty hunter.
This is the same man who, 4 episodes ago, was asked if he had something on his ship, and he was like, I don't have that program. And then 5 seconds later, oh, would you look at that?
There it is.
It is.
So bad. He's a bounty hunter. I thought he would have
the best, apparently. And he's like questionable.
And he travels at light speed and shoots people who ask too many questions. So now he's like, I can't do either of these things. So
here's my theory, right? He's got a Barbara Gordon / Jarvis in his helmet, constantly feeding him what he's supposed to do and say. And as soon as he can't wear his own armor in this episode, he's got nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. And in season 3, we're going to find out who is hanging out in the tower, feeding Mando all the intel. Because he is just the cluelessest.
He's so clueless, and we love him.
We love him so much.
Yeah.
Can I just say, imagine if somebody showed him affection one day. He will not know how to function.
I mean, he almost didn't function with Omera. He was
exactly.
just like,
he just like,
helmet off.
Again.
Okay.
Can you picture what his face looked like under the mask, though? He was probably just like, I have died inside of my helmet. What is happening? Somebody is touching me.
I was like,
and it's not violent touch.
It was like when IG 11-2 was about to sacrifice himself, and Din's response was, "I'm not sad." Like, okay, no one said you were, Din, but go on.
Thanks for announcing that.
Yeah, he just. I thought it was really interesting how Miggs did come to his rescue. That's one thing, because he could have technically left him there.
Yeah, to flounder.
Well, because Miggs saw him do the one thing that was like his core belief.
Exactly.
He does not take his helmet off. And he took it off for the kids. So Miggs is like, if he can go against this way he's grown up with for his son, then I can just step in there and run the risk that this one guy recognizes me. Because he might not, but which I don't know if he really did recognize him. But he's like, I could run that risk for Din if Din is willing to go against everything he was raised with to save his son. Okay. So I like that kind of fuels Miggs' decision.
Going away from the himbo, let's talk about something a little bit more serious, is the way they captured Miggs' PTSD.
Yes.
This is so real. You could and again, shocked Bill Burr could do this. I feel really bad saying this about anyone, but yeah, shocked. The way his body kind of tenses up while he's sitting in his eyes, and that's just how someone reacts to that.
Some twitches.
And how he snaps too. It's just
It was
something you think about because it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's wars going on.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see his reaction refusing to go into the room because he knows that commander and there's a possibility that commander might recognize him.
Yeah.
But then when he sits down and he's face to face with this person and all of these things come back, like we were talking about earlier, like in the conversation in the transport on the way, he is very cold and he is very like, it's a machine, brother, you know. And I think once he does a thing that he hasn't been able to do since Operation Cinder, which is face the person who put him there and he says tens of thousands of his fellow soldiers and civilians die. And that, I think that's a really wonderful character change, character arc moment for his character, just to be like, he's reliving it. And in that moment, he's like, I just picked a side forever right here, right now. And it's not this
and the
one.
guy was so gross about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, who cares if it, like, no.
He's
But
like,
there's a
it's
reason
worth
that
it.
guy's in charge.
And Din's
Like,
just
I feel
sitting
like the
there
people at the
watching
bottom
ping
are just
pong.
kind of working there, but if you're rising to that level of command, it's because you like hurting other people.
Yeah, that's how you
Like,
get ahead in
that's-
the Empire, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he does play the Night King in Game of Thrones.
He does.
So,
This is
you know,
true.
Well, there you go.
He's a terrible dude.
They mentioned Operation Cinder, which is in Battlefront 2 and also
Yes.
the Alphabet Squadron.
Yeah.
right?
And in Lost Stars.
oh, let's do it.
Yes.
Maybe?
It's also
Am I wrong?
mentioned in the newest whatchamadidding, Squadrons.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have-
Yeah,
I'm
there's a
only-
drop in of it in Squadrons. So it's everywhere.
It's happening. Something's happening.
Yeah.
But again, you don't need to know everything about that to understand the horror of what
Right.
happened.
Yeah, he
Well,
lays
this was
it-
Operation
he lays it all
Cinder,
out
it's
for
like
you.
Baseballs, so that
Yeah.
tells you
Yeah.
everything you need to know about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I don't know why I thought this, but when like Mix shot the commanding officer and everyone like froze, I'm like, is this gonna be like the Wicked Witch of the West and all like the lackeys are gonna be like, oh yeah, you killed the bad guy. I don't know why I thought that for
I
half a
thought that
second.
too, honestly.
Okay, good. Maggie
Well,
and
oh,
I
yeah.
like share a brain.
It's really
Like,
creepy.
It's the entire episode kind of messes with your head. Like when the TIE fighters show up to save Din and you're like, thank God somebody's here. You're like, wait, that's the Empire. But then they go in and they're all cheering for them. And then it takes you a minute to realize you were just cheering for the Empire. So you're almost thinking that maybe the Empire is on the same page as you. And when they take out the commander, that like they will all be happy that he's gone too. But obviously, that's
Also,
not
can we
His
point out?
face
Can we
when
point?
he shoots him?
Can we point out that like we were against the pirates and technically they were the good guys?
yeah.
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 And that like when I had that realization when I watched it a second time, which I watched 2 episodes 2 times in a row, which is like a new thing for me. But I was like, oh wait a second, I should be cheering those guys on. Oh no.
Yeah, it was a bit striking for me to have like the emotional anchor of the episode be this sort of speech from Mayfeld to be like, you can't kill innocent people, and then they're like slaughtering all these pirates that are like trying to be the good guys and kind of save their planet. And you know, we're the intruders to this native world, these native people. It just kind of seemed like a weird 360 or 180 for me. Be like, oh, okay, now we're killing's bad. It was a little strange, but I had that realization later on, and I was kind of like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, if it makes
Villain.
anybody feel better, we would have been cheering for the pirates if it wasn't Din they were attacking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I thought was interesting about it, was by putting our point of view character in the center of this conflict,
From a certain point of
how
view.
we feel changes.
And I
Yeah.
think Rick did it really well too, because I think there's an undercurrent of that realization too, and I think that comes through with Miggs's dialogue, and then they end up having to do that very thing that he like discussed, which I thought was an interesting play, because it makes you think. It does make you like look at things and like address them.
And then you have the imagery, the callback to blowing up the transport with Miggs at the end. Like they could have just gotten out, and Miggs has shot a commander, and they've shot a whole bunch of stormtroopers, and that was enough. And Miggs was like, no. I am firmly on the other side. Let me be the best sniper from a moving vehicle away with a gun that looks like it was like wooden. I was like,
so
what is
bad.
this? What is this one barrel gun that he is shooting like at least a half a mile with? It was amazing.
Yeah, and
Felt
with
straight
what
out of
Hess
an 80s
said-
action movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
much
yes.
so.
Hess says they're gonna do something worse than Cinder, so that's specifically
Yes.
why he was like. Hess also says again, like everybody thinks they want freedom, but what they really want is order. What a bunch of
That
villains
total,
say that.
total
right?
empire dialogue right there.
That is
I think
such a
Loki says that
Brendel
too.
Hux thing to say. Like,
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
I wonder if Hess is related to Hux at all.
well, I mean, if
Seriously.
he
Real
still thinks he
world
works for the
villains, too.
Empire 5 years after
True.
the fact, I'm
I
willing
mean,
to bet.
can we talk about a certain politician who tweets law and order every day?
Who just shouts it.
You mean Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Is that what you're?
Yes.
That's the only politician I follow on Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't know who you're talking about.
He's like,
I only
okay.
see it because I watch the news.
Yeah.
But speaking of Miggs's transformation, I talked about this last night on the Star Wars Friends podcast, and I do want to talk about it again because I think it's a really neat trope that they've now done twice. So we have IG-11. IG-11 starts off as a bounty hunter droid who becomes a nurse droid. Din doesn't like droids, very actively against them. IG-11 sacrifices himself. He is transformed in the eyes of Din and everybody else, since he ends up getting a statue. But it's only through Din removing his helmet and essentially seeing Din's face that IG-11's character is, redemption is the wrong word, but transformed in the eyes of the people who are around that character. And then again, that happens with Miggs. Miggs sees Din with his helmet off, and he is also transformed in the eyes of everyone around him. And he has this like revelatory like experience, and like Din's perception of him changes the same as Din's perception of IG-11 changes. And I think it's really interesting now that we've seen the 2 times that Din's helmet has come off, the character in closest proximity to him is changed and perceptions are changed. And I think it's really neat. And like, I don't know if it's an intentional thing or if it's one of those things that's just like, as people are writing, that just like naturally comes out and it's not like an intentional thing. Cause like, I know like as a writer myself, like sometimes I'll write things and then later on be like, oh, I was playing into that trope and like, I wasn't consciously aware of it. But it's happened twice now. So it makes me wonder like what's going to happen the 3rd time his helmet comes off, like what transformative experience is going to happen. Because I mean, looking at Pedro's face is pretty transformative for me. So I mean,
those eyes.
whew.
Yeah,
What do you
I
guys
think the
think of-
next. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say just I think the next like logical step for Din to take his helmet off is in front of the child.
Mhm.
I think that's
Yeah.
kind of
That's what we've been.
And he'll
going to be the
maybe
transformative,
then
yeah.
he will transform. He's transformed 2 people, and now he'll be the one transformed.
What did you guys think of
Yeah.
like when Biggs is like, put your helmet back on, I never saw your face?
I love that he was looking away from him.
Yeah.
I really like that because it was like, you know, when you have that scene earlier with Miggs and Din talking in the transport, and they're talking about like, well, you know, why are you like, what's the rule here and so on. You know, a lot of people have been drawing the analogy to like growing up, let's say, in like a really conservative religious household, right? And that sort of the process of kind of moving out of that. And I sort of love that moment where he says like, I didn't see your face. And it's like, it's almost like the analogy I thought in my head. It's like, it's the person, let's say, grows up in a very, let's say, like strict conservative household, and they maybe like, let's say they smoke a cigarette or something like that. And then somebody's like, I didn't see you do that. Like that never happened. It was something like that. So I really like that moment.
I actually misheard that line the first time I watched the episode, and he's just finished murdering everyone in the room, and I thought he turned to Din and said, "Now no one's seen your face." As like an excuse.
That would've been
for why he had
awesome.
to kill
That would've been
everyone.
hilarious.
Din's like, I gotta shoot you too now.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I like
And
that
so-
he sort of. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, go.
I definitely thought that that Bill Burr's character was not going to make it out of the episode because he'd seen Mando's face.
It was
And
too pretty. It was too pretty.
I mean,
Killed him.
I would die.
I know.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I like that Miggs is sort of acknowledging that he hasn't prompted any kind of big lifestyle change in Mando. Like he's not just gonna run around with his helmet off. Like he even says it. He's like, you did what you have
Right.
to do. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to prove a point anymore. You can put your helmet back on, and I never saw your face, so you're like square as far as your own beliefs are. Like nobody saw you. Your helmet never came off, as far as I'm concerned. So, like he acknowledges that's important to him in that moment. So I liked that from Miggs too.
Yeah, and what Mick says is like you got to do what helps you sleep at night, and
Yeah.
him taking that shooting Hess is gonna help him sleep at night, and obviously Din getting Grogu back is gonna help him sleep a lot too. You know,
Mhm.
so they're
Do you
all
think-
doing-
Do you think if Din knew the power that him taking his helmet off had on other people, that final transmission, he would have had his helmet off and maybe like converted the entire bridge crew to his side?
That would have been awesome. That would have
Right?
been like absolutely fantastic.
I don't remember what her name is, but the woman,
Katie O'Brien.
Katie O'Brien.
Well,
Yeah,
we know
Katie
that.
O'Brien would 100% be on his side if he had his helmet off in that transmission. You know it. She's
She'd be
gonna
like, "I'm
turn
taking
on
the
Gideon in
kid."
a second.
Well, okay, so I labeled it in my notes the take-in scene because that's
As coined by me.
That's what
Yes.
it is.
yeah. I've been seeing people use the Liam Neeson gift so much yesterday. They're like out of context, and it's like yes, they
It's
have
so accurate.
skills. It is.
I
And
knew
it's
it was
actually-
coming too, because after last week with the Razor Crest, it's like such a Taken trope. Like destroy the house, take the kid. It's
Yes,
on.
and he it's actually what Gideon says in the first season finale.
Yeah.
Except he calls him a Grogu it instead.
Yeah.
So yeah, he says
Oh,
he's
I didn't
more
even catch
important-
that.
Yeah, he's more important to me than
Mhm.
you'll ever know.
Yeah, it was in the recap at the top of the episode. Never skip
Yes.
the recap.
No, I always skip the recap because
No.
yes,
It's
because
so
I was surprised
good.
by Finnick. I was surprised by Finnick last
Oh,
episode
sure.
because I skipped it.
But
I
then
thought
you
it was- I thought
you
it was
miss
so
you miss
smart
these
putting
awesome
that
parallels
together.
that they're setting up. They're trying to give it to you. Even my 7-year-old kid, he was like, "That's the thing that he said at the beginning of the episode." I'm like, "He said it last season, but you're wrong. You're 7 years old. It's fine."
Oh, I thought it was being like so clever connecting those two. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I always
You're
skip.
still clever, Candace. It's
Thank
okay.
you. I always
You are.
skip it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that you
No,
were
it's
not
okay,
clever.
Brad.
You're
It's
amazing.
okay, Brad.
Obviously. Okay. Sorry.
But yeah, no, I always skip it because I always give stuff away, and I don't want to know what's going to happen. I don't want to know who's showing up. Yes, he's going straight into that fight. Do you think he should have told him he was coming?
No, my
No.
mom was like, "Why did he tell him he was coming? He has
He's
no
such a
element of
drama king.
surprise."
He's such a
So he
drama
could
king.
make that speech, and we could all be like, "Oh, parallel."
He's been
The only
waiting.
reason.
He's been waiting since last time to give that speech. Din's like, no, I let you
Rehearsing
paint
it
your
in the
armor.
bathroom mirror.
They're all sitting around the
he
little
wrote it
conference
down?
table. I feel like he did. So like
He's
in the
reading it off the
conference,
teleprompter.
you know that
No.
little conference center inside of the slave. So they're all like, dude, you shouldn't tell him we're coming. And Din's like, no, I let you paint your armor. I get to
I
give
let
my
you
big
stop
hero
it,
speech.
Michaels.
I'm just imagining, like, you know how people help record like a TikTok or something? Like one of them's holding the camera and it's like, no, be super serious.
Somebody's holding the cue cards. Like,
Yes, exactly.
It
You
took
know,
him
Boba's
like
got the camera,
16
Fennec's
takes.
got the cue cards.
yeah.
Yeah.
yes, they're very proud parents.
Yep.
I just,
He recorded it so many times before he got it just
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're gonna be there by the time you're done with this.
But I mean, I loved it because one, it does seem like counterintuitive to tell the villain that you're on your way, but two, it sets up so much psychological play because everybody on the bridge heard that, and everybody on the bridge is like, "Oh, this dude's coming." So now, when you show up, you get to have that sort of Ridley Scott alien vibe, which I think is what's probably going to happen, where he's going to be everywhere on that ship, and they're not going to know where he is or where he's coming from, or how many of him there are, all of that kind of stuff. Like it's going to be that sort of a infiltration, and the crew's going to poop themselves.
And Gideon did.
Or are they
look
going to be
worried.
on a ship?
Yeah,
Are
maybe
they gonna be on
they're
the
in a
ship?
lab
Maybe they're
or
gonna-
something.
Make a landing at their destination, which
Should
will be Camino.
What we're going to find out
Yes.
next episode is he's already got Grogu by the time he sent that message. Like, they're already fine. They don't even know. You just
yeah.
I think the next episode's called The Rescue. I have a
I
feeling.
was really surprised that like Gideon looked scared. You know,
Yeah.
he
He
was
did
like,
actually look nervous.
concerned. I was like, what?
Well, because he's
You're
probably
concerned
wondering,
about
he's
him?
like, I blew up the ship, so how did he get here? How does he contact me? How does he even know how to find me? Like, he doesn't know any of that.
Oh my god, Dan, why did you do that?
Let's be real. Gideon has never had anybody read back his own lines to him in a more menacing tone. I think
Dude, he
he's
was so
about to fall in
menacing.
love. He's about to fall in love.
I fell in
When
love.
He
I
takes
was
that
like,
mask off
it
in
was
front of Moff
really
Gideon,
hot.
man. It's over. Gideon's
I was
done.
like,
Here's your dark saber.
Angry Din.
Okay, but the fact that Dan memorized the entire speech.
No,
He
he's
can't
again.
come up with a designation, but he
He's
can
got a
memorize
Jarvis
speech.
in his helmet that records absolutely everything.
That's what happened.
He's like, go back to Stardate. We're not Stardate. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, what I loved about it is like the thing I thought of immediately was the Rise of Skywalker was Han and Ben on the Death Star wreckage, in the sense of like it's the similar trope of like you see a scene from an earlier moment, but it's like repeated with like something inverted. So I really like that.
Tiernan, no, I won't.
Okay, well,
Maggie's not even wearing pants, so there.
don't stand up, Maggie.
Hannah's in a neighbor.
I actually have Darth Vader pajama pants on.
Okay, so are you guys ready for some Grogu Baby Yoda news, especially since he wasn't in this episode?
Please.
Yes. I'm
Okay.
not happy
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Okay, so Arzu and I have been preparing for this because there's something that we need to do. This is an intervention. Maggie, we need to talk to you about something very serious.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We have never felt so betrayed
I know.
or so hurt.
So Maggie wrote this for Dorkside, and it is pretty much just Baby Yoda propaganda. And Maggie and I a few months ago decided to expose the expose isn't a good word for the child, considering what he's done in the past, and that. All his drama and diva-ness, and it really seems like Baby Yoda has hired Maggie. Maggie,
I can neither confirm nor deny that I may or may not be in the pocket of the child.
is he paying you in chicken nuggets?
And chocolate milk?
He's paying me in macaroons and nummies.
Mm.
Oh. Well.
I'm sorry.
It's just this betrayal.
It was a deal I just couldn't say no to.
You know what he's
This
like,
is not the way, Maggie.
It is the way.
This is not the way.
Speaking of which, Maggie also created this. Because apparently Grogu was upset that he
was
wasn't
so
even on
upset.
the
Okay,
list.
he called me at like 3 a.m. and he was venting about the fact that he had just been overlooked, and out of everybody this year, who has brought the most joy to America and to the entire world? Who? Grogu.
And if you notice right there, it says Order 66 survivor, Jedi Temple Massacre survivor, Jedi Purge survivor. It's very dramatic. Did
Well,
he
I
choose
mean,
that?
he has survived a lot of things, and the world needs to know about it. I'm just saying.
So sainthood next. Just.
Oh,
go
yeah.
straight to it. Yeah.
He's going to be on one of those the candles, the Catholic candles you can purchase.
Now I have to find those. They exist somewhere. I
Just
have
you
to find
wait.
them.
I'm getting my iPad this week and Procreate, and things are happening.
So we all also know about all the Star Wars shows that were announced Thursday, right? You guys heard about that, right?
Oh yeah.
Wait, there was
Maybe heard
Star
a
Wars
thing or
shows
two.
announced?
Yeah. And there were
Wow.
also
Star Wars.
Marvel shows announced. And there is an Baby Groot TV show, Disney Plus show planned.
I can't wait.
And he did not like that at all. He sent me this. He was really upset. Again, he wasn't in this week's episode, and there was no talk of him during that whole Investor Day video. So yeah, he is going to take over the show, he says, which I don't know how he's going to do. But yeah.
This is true.
Oh my God, there's
Somebody who hates me posted it. I was like,
there was too much drama for something to do with Baby Yoda. That's what he does, Maggie.
Yeah, I know.
That's what he
Unfortunately, I
does.
brought it upon myself.
Yes. So, did you guys think in this episode he was just like little handcuffed?
I feel like he was being tortured somewhere.
No,
Yeah,
Maggie, no.
I also think that, Maggie.
He's gonna be like super roughed up next week, like a little spot of blood on his forehead.
Oh God.
And then Papa Din's going to go insane and just kill every Imperial with
A little
anything
like
to do with
split lip.
He's gonna go John Wick. Like,
Yeah,
it's
He's
gonna
gonna
go
go John Wick on that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Love it.
Oh wait, so here's my question: do you think by the end of season 2, Grogu and Din, father and son, will be reunited?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
Are the both
Sorry.
Brad saying no?
There's only one. I said no. This
No,
Brad
but
said no.
he's making a face like
I'm undecided.
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 Oh, playing it safe.
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
Okay.
Okay. I've watched Star Wars before,
Yes.
and forgive me if I am not fully in the camp that, like, one, Star Wars believes in happy endings anymore, but two, there's definitely going to be a season 3, right?
They're filming it right now.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
if we do all of this and get to a place where everything's fine, and then what does season 3 have to be? Like, they're not going to stop coming after Grogu, because who would stop coming after Grogu? You have to catch them all. They're like Pokemon. So it sort of sets up season 3 to be the same sort of like arc, I think.
What if they get the DNA they need from Grogu, and so they're not sad when they steal him back?
Yeah.
They're not sad.
Yeah.
Well, like they have the DNA.
Well, like
they
he's
need,
like
so
got
that the
whatever
next
they need
season
from
is
him.
Yeah.
back.
And
But
so and then they're like, oh yeah, you can take him. It's fine.
Because
But
we have
they-
like 10 of them now.
They had Grogu donor,
They're like
whatever.
tribbles.
He was already
Yeah,
a donor for them, and they got stuff from him, but they obviously need more. I imagine that, like, Grogu is like a blood donor, but he's so wee that he can only donate so much before it's too much. So they need more Grogu because they obviously need more donation. You've got to make a full-size Snoke clone out of this. I mean, so I imagine quantity is what they're looking for here.
I will
Anyway.
say they made me cry so hard last Christmas for about 2 weeks straight. So if they make me cry this Christmas too, they're gonna be getting
Wait.
very.
Oh
sternly
no,
worked
it's
on.
happening on the 18th.
Yeah, it is.
Like
Yeah, it is. But here's the thing.
2 weeks of tears. It's gonna
I think
happen
that-
all over again.
I think that realistically, we're going to have the happiest situation that we can have, but I don't know that it's going to be like a resolution to this.
No,
thing.
I don't think there will be
No, I
a
don't think-
resolution. But I think
But I mean, I think that means we don't get him back.
Okay, see, this is my thing. Is
I know.
okay, maybe they aren't together, but I think maybe he's safe because I feel like they have to make Grogu safe just for merch purposes.
What if somebody else rescues him and they get split up?
Yeah, that's what
That
I'm
could
thinking.
be.
Bo-Katan
yeah.
has it.
Real quick, they destroyed the Razor Crest, which is a $130 Lego set. So if you're worried about the merch situation, I don't know that that's enough. I think
Okay, but they'll
Filoni.
make another ship. They can't just make another Grogu.
But they also still sell Death Stars and stuff.
Exactly, Death Stars blew up.
And just because Grogu is not necessarily, I think that, okay, if I'm making predictions, I'm going to make a prediction right now. I think
Do
that at the end of this episode, we're going to see most of Moff Gideon's crew, if not Moff Gideon himself, wiped out. And I think Grogu is going to have been transferred to someone else
Ooh.
that we
Thrawn?
haven't seen yet.
Do you think there's
I
gonna
don't
be
like it.
another big bad like Thrawn?
They're
I
going
feel like there's gonna
somewhere
be a
with Grogu.
secret.
They're
I feel like
taking
Thrawn-
Grogu somewhere. Like
I think
they're
Thrawn's more for the Ahsoka series,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I don't think
I
Thrawn's
don't
showing up
think
in
Thrawn's gonna be
Mandalorian.
a big
But we
face.
haven't
Yeah.
seen Grogu. Sorry, not Grogu. We haven't seen Gideon doing anything necessarily with clones or with Force users. He's definitely got this like troop of Dark Troopers, but we don't know what Gideon wants yet, really, with
Yeah.
Grogu. So I think it's possible
We
that
know he's
Gideon
gonna
is
have a big fight
taking
next
him
week
someplace else. Yeah,
because
think-
of what Giancarlo said in an interview.
Well, also, remember he has the staff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the staff,
That's gonna pay off before the
that's
season.
Again-
Chekhov's
Right.
staff.
Again, I will say,
Used.
Staff v
as
Dark Trooper.
somebody who watched Game of Thrones, I'm going to need Din to keep his helmet on while he is fighting somebody with a staff because I don't want to see a mountain crush his pretty face in. I can't do it again. I've watched the man die like 6 times in movies, and I can't deal with him getting hurt. I
He's
can't.
the new Sean Bean.
Oh
He
no!
is.
No, you said it.
He has
Could
gone
you
into-
imagine?
He's gone
if-
into a meat grinder. He's had his head bashed in. I can't do it. I can't.
Where was the meat? You know what? I don't want to know.
It's
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Could you imagine
Kingsman. It's Kingsman.
if
Oh God. Okay.
if
I'm not
like
watching
Din
that
and
one.
company show up on the Star Destroyer and like the experiment, like whatever Pershing's doing is like done, and it's like the mutant mountain from Game of Thrones,
And it
he
looks
has
like
to
the child.
fight that
It's
Oh,
like a
he has a
giant
child's
child.
face.
guy.
Wait,
So, like,
here's some hope. Do you guys think someone will die next week? Because we did have someone die in the finale last time.
I hope.
I know who
Yeah, I
I would
hope
like.
certain character is just like,
Hey,
gone.
everybody, all at once, say who you want to die next week.
Sorry, could you hear that?
Where's my magic 8-ball?
It's like I don't want women characters to die because they keep doing that in Star Wars, but I kind of want.
This one is
to-
okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
This one's
This is
okay.
this is
I
a
think when
free
you
pass.
stand against everything the franchise and basic human rights stand for, I think it's coming. I want to add to other
Yes,
Brad's
exactly.
thoughts on because I think I'm also in the undecided, kind of maybe leaning more towards Baby Yoda not, and if somebody does die next week, but I think if somebody does die, I think that kind of lends itself to the fact that this is the darker middle chapter of Mandalorian.
Mhm.
And when we think of the end of last season, Baby got rescued, and there's like a very clear plot line set up of like, okay, we're going to bring him to his people now. So you have to kind of ask yourself, what are they going to set up for season 3? Because ideally, you think if they're following a very similar pattern, which they are currently, what is episode 8 going to set up for season 3 to make us want to come back and watch it for next season? I mean, obviously everybody's going to watch it because it's Mandalorian, but like, for the general viewer that's like, should I watch next season? Do I care? I think if you maybe don't have Baby Yoda get rescued and there's a very clear plot line and it's not necessarily repeating the same exact thing we did last season, and it kind of shocks you in that way, to then like wait an entire year to be like, I need to know when the baby gets back in the hands of Din Djarin.
And we won't see that until Christmas next year.
Yeah.
I mean, the possibility that I've thought in my mind, and like, I don't know, I'm not really certain yet, like, how likely I think this is possible. Like, one thing that could do exactly what Brad just mentioned is like, possibly like someone answers the Tython call.
Yes.
Like someone shows up.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then that sets up
thinking of.
like this question of like, which direction is Grogu going to go in? Is he going to go with Jedi X, or is he going to stick with Mando?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or potentially, do we get, again, I'm biased because this is what I think is going to happen, but do we get somebody answering the Typhon call, but Grogu is still not rescued, but now it's that person plus Mando plus Boba Fett
Oh, wow.
minus
That's
one
intriguing. I
one
like
certain
that.
female character
I want
because she died.
No.
But
He's not going to make it up.
and then
What
we're
if he's
going
like,
into.
Auntie Ahsoka, come back. I need some help.
I would love to see. Honestly, I would love to see. And we're getting a whole Ahsoka series, and she's
Yeah.
got a thing over there with Thrawn that she's
She's
chasing.
got
filming
her-
here in Virginia right now,
Right.
so she's probably not filming season 3.
Show me somebody new that we're not expecting, or somebody that we didn't
Cal
know.
Kestis.
Ezra.
Exactly.
Cal
Somebody we
Kestis,
didn't
please.
know survived Order 66, who is still hanging out in the galaxy. Like, I would love to see somebody new that is totally unexpected.
I was
Yeah,
just
I
thinking,
don't-
what if it's like baby Jason Syndulla
If-
and
Aw.
Jason and Ben Solo?
If-
Like, in their little
Baby
Baby
show up.
Syndulla and 5-year-old Ben Solo show up like, we're here to train
We're
you."
here to help you. We're Jedi too. And
If,
they're
if
It's the
Jason-
baby
Dark
league.
Squad. Oh my god.
oh my god,
Jedi babies.
right?
Like Jason was babysitting Ben and he's like, you know what? We gotta go. We gotta call. And Ben's like, okay.
Wait, it's We Can Be Heroes.
We just Spider-Verse Star Wars, and we're like, where'd you come from? That hole over there, I don't know. I was just blown into here. Like, who's
It
your
ties
father?
into Lego.
Han
It ties
Solo?
into Lego movie.
Yes.
It's all connected.
Ray falls through and is like, "Hey, you're that cute baby I saw over there."
The Legos were all like just telling us. Who do you guys? Hannah asked, who do you guys think the secret director is?
Me.
George Lucas.
That's who I wish.
Oh my god, could you imagine? That
I'm
would be
like
amazing.
dying on that hill. I'm dying on that hill. He was on set for the Ahsoka episode. Like the dude was around trying to get his
Oh,
bearings
wow.
and everything to direct an
Mhm.
episode. I don't know. I'm gonna be a clown next week. I'll put the clown makeup on. It's fine. I'm just dealing
guess
with that.
it's-
I'm gonna buy it. So
I mean, I have
I'm
I have
I'm
two
gonna
desires.
say that I would laugh very hard if it was Ryan Johnson. I won't
Yeah.
be, but I
It would be
just-
funny,
I guess I
though.
have three. I have three wishes for it to either be George Lucas, Ryan Johnson, or Robert Rodriguez again.
I think the safe bet is to say John.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's probably
probably.
But why
Gavron.
would
Sure,
you
it's
keep that
John.
as, like, why would you not announce that?
Do they announce
Like,
everybody
why
else
is it a
though?
secret?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They,
Yeah.
It all came out in the Directors Guild announcement.
yeah,
Like,
then
why-
it must
why
be
not
George. It's
announce
got to
that
be
one?
George then, right? Right?
It's got to be somebody that we didn't already see this season. Otherwise, they definitely would have done it. And it can't be John or Dave because
Yeah,
why
they're obvious.
not?
They would have just announced
Yeah.
Gotta
it.
be a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's somebody new, they would have said who it was if it weren't top
I like-
secret.
Watch
I
it
like
be.
Shannon's idea in the comments that Pedro directs it next week.
Ooh,
I
nice.
wish.
Oh wow.
I like
Kind of
that.
cool.
I would
Watch
love
it.
that.
Watch it be J.J. Abrams, and we are all just
On the
dead.
18th again. Don't do it to me, Brad.
And he's like,
Don't
oh my
have
god,
a
Chris
universe.
along to help
Don't
me
straight
write
to
it.
jail.
back.
I'm just here to
Straight to
curse
jail.
everybody. Is what I'm here to do.
I'm
So
calling the
sorry.
police.
This isn't
There was an
crime.
attack.
I'm putting this down.
You
Like a
hurt
very
Maggie,
personal,
Brad. You
targeted
hurt
attack,
Maggie.
and I don't
Did
like
you
it.
see me like completely
I know.
separate?
I know it's terrible, right?
I feel like, okay, if George directs, I feel like he would want Ahsoka there.
Candace, can I see Pedro's face again?
Yeah. Oh, is it like
We
a
need to calm down a
cleanser?
little bit.
Just to cleanse it. Yep.
Thank
Nice.
you.
He's got such a nice side profile.
He does.
So, like
so
my
much
Look at
my
that
big
man.
tinfoil hat theory is like we are going to Camino, and the reason the importance of Boba Fett being there is because the boy knows his way around Camino and the secret
he
ways to get around. Like he'll help.
Wouldn't that be
and then
awesome?
to bring George back to direct a Camino episode. Like I don't know,
I mean,
it's not
just
going to
the
happen.
Prequels kids
That would be
getting
great,
everything they
though.
ever wanted, you know.
Yeah, that's my like
Prequel stuff,
conspiracy.
And then we get Dr. Pershing back too.
That's the
I
thing, because
thought he was
Dr.
gonna be in
Pershing
this
has the
episode.
Camino patch on his shoulder,
Yeah.
so there's got to be a connection there at some point. And if we're talking about cloning and experiments,
And Boba
and
already
stuff-
mentioned cloning.
And
I want my
Camino-
safe doctor
yeah.
back. That's all I want.
Camino's erased off the Jedi Archives map. It's a place nobody knows about or is aware
Except for
of.
Boba.
So where else can you? Yeah, except for Boba. So like, where else would the Empire want to rebuild itself other than a planet
honestly,
that
the
nobody cares about?
The slave probably has that set to like frequent destinations.
Like how I have my
Like, put the-
parents' home, like set.
And he's just like, oh yeah, I got it. We're going to Camino. Cool. Got it. Saved right here.
And that could even be a season 3 thing too. Again, if the child doesn't get rescued and Boba's like, I know where they're going. That sets it up right there. So
Yeah. That's part of the
Yes,
reason that
Connor, you are Pershing.
yeah. That's part of the reason that I don't think the child's getting rescued, because there's so much cliffhanger potential with where they're gonna go, what they're gonna do. And yet if the kid gets rescued, then they have to build up a new
guess-
cliffhanger, a reason to go
Yeah.
place instead of
I
just
it's gonna have to
going.
be a
different.
huge cliffhanger if so.
Yeah.
Because season 1, they might not have thought, like, what if this is unpopular? Let's end it kind of loose ends, so it's kind of satisfying, so there's not a cliffhanger. But now that they know, hey, we're getting a season 3,
Yeah.
let's break some
And
hearts. Darn it!
I think too, Gideon's coming back next season, and I think Giancarlo mentioned it in a quote in Entertainment
Yeah.
Weekly. He said you're going to see me in season 3, but also you can't kill off Gideon without Bo-Katan, and we know Bo-Katan, according to
Katie.
what's her face, who's the actress? Gosh,
Katie.
I'm blanking.
Katie Sackhoff.
Katie.
Not Katie Sackhoff, the
Oh,
other one
Sasha.
that plays
Sasha.
Sasha Banks. Yeah, Sasha Banks said she won't be back for season 2, which makes you think next season will be the reclamation of the Darksaber. So I mean, you
But,
can't
I mean,
give the Darksaber off to Din Djarin. That wouldn't feel right.
I
And
mean,
there's a story there.
Sasha could be, her character could be off doing something else.
We know that she
That's
could
true.
always doing
Yeah, that's
stuff.
And then, like, Bo-Katan's like, hey, I'm going solo. I'm going after him. I don't want anyone else, like, risking their life for this.
That's a
I'm
a
going
valid
for it.
point. Yeah,
Just because, like,
I would be
yeah.
screaming if she shows up next week and she's
I-
like, "I want my thing back."
Brad, I think we're going to all be screaming no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Something's
Yeah.
gonna
I'm actually
happen
getting up
next
at
week.
3 a.m. for this one. I've been watching them at like
considering
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I have one vacation day left at work, and I'm like, do I take it for next Friday? Because I don't need it, because I'm not going anywhere for Christmas, because quarantine Christmas. I'll be like, yes. Be like, oh, I wish to take this day off to watch The Mandalorian 10,000 times. Yes,
I think
please.
you should. No matter what happens, it's going to be an emotional
gonna be
roller
emotional.
coaster, right? So if it's the worst possible scenario, you're going to need that time. And if it's the best, then you're just going to want to like hot
like, do
chocolate and
some-
Mando all day long,
Do
right?
some cartwheels and just like
Yeah.
dance around with my Baby Yoda dolls. Just, you know.
I jinxed myself and I said there's not a Star Wars film that can hurt me this year on Christmas. But there may be a
So
Star
it's
Wars
your
show that
fault.
can hurt me this year on
Your fault,
Christmas.
Brad. If I'm
'Cause
crying
Star Wars
next
can
week,
always
it's your
hurt you
fault.
on Christmas.
Think about how long the premiere was. How long was the premiere? Like at least over an hour.
50
right?
minutes. It was
Yeah.
55 minutes or
Yeah.
so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, it felt longer.
If this pans out, if Grogu is not returned to Din, I will never be invited on another live stream or podcast because I will have cursed everything, and I apologize in advance for that.
Well, it's not just you. I did a poll because I was on Star Wars Friends yesterday, and Kyle's like, "No, they're not getting him back," and I'm like, "How dare you, Kyle?" So we have 64% saying yes, they're going to be reunited, while 35% say no out of 209 votes. So you aren't alone, but still.
That 35%. Why do you want to cry on Christmas again?
I
And
can't.
I know it's set in stone, but don't put that out there.
Star
I
Wars
just
tragedy.
can't believe that it's the 18th again.
To be clear, I don't agree that like we're gonna get images of Grogu with blood on his face next
I
week,
want
like
that.
some people, right? I don't think they're gonna beat a little baby up.
They stunned
I
and
just don't think
handcuffed
he's
one.
gonna be returned, right? Like I don't think they're gonna cut an ear off Reservoir Dogs style next week. I
Why
just
would
think
you
they're not
say
gonna.
that?
Well,
You don't think
I mean,
he's
when
just
we-
going to lie back and disappear into the
He's got
forest?
big ears. What? It would be an
You don't
amazing.
think that's going to happen?
Don't do it.
Arzu, no.
when we
Listen,
got him back in
Maggie-
chapter 3, he was out for the count.
I'm already like
So-
disassociating right now.
What color is
I'm-
Yoda's blood? What
I'm in
color
a
is?
bad place, and I'm taking
We're gonna find
everybody with me.
He bleeds green.
Oh my
The
God.
realization that was the 18th just clicked, and my brain is not doing well.
Sorry.
Um,
I'm sorry.
look at his face.
Thank
There we
you,
go,
thank
yeah.
you, thank you,
Thank
thank you.
More of it.
Yep. No.
There we go.
Candace, you're going to have to keep these handy for next Friday and
Yeah.
just like send
Hey,
it to Maggie and I like every 2 seconds.
Could you do me a
Look
favor?
how happy I think he is right there. Look how happy.
Look at he's got 2 ears in that
We
one.
were happy
Aw.
once.
Oh my God.
Can we see the look? Can we see the look?
Can we see it? Can we see it?
Which one?
The look.
You know the one we want. Hold on a second.
Oh,
The one where we literally asked for it before the thing started. You got it. There we go.
oh! Do you
Yeah.
guys notice I photoshopped some? I photoshopped it a little bit. My editing's so
No,
good.
this is exactly what I saw. You see, Miggs is staring into this portal of darkness in the back of the ship.
They do have
Oh.
access to the world between worlds on Slave One. I just thrown that out there, and that's what that
Confirmed.
is. Right.
That's how Ray is going to show up.
Yes.
Look
Arzu,
at-
I love that we both were like this.
You're like, that's what
I was like,
Yeah, I gotta give
what
it to Fennec Shan. Like, she took out all those stormtroopers by herself. That was just like
Right?
an incredible
Absolute
feat
badass.
of sharpshooting.
I wanted to mention this too.
Oh.
Like when I was 100% in that moment when they're escaping through the window and shooting people, I was like, yes, excellent team building here. Way to pick people who have got your back and do it well. Like you've got these 2 awesome sharpshooters, like picking people off. So, and Din keeps looking backwards like, I usually take them out myself. Oh, you got this. And then he does that like 5 times. He looks backwards and the stormtrooper's already dead. But I was like, yeah, way to pick a team. Way to actually do it well. Not some like hodgepodge. Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, we have 13
Proud.
more minutes, and Hope says, "Okay, Arzu,
Thanks, Hope.
Maggie, I'm letting you guys loose."
Okay.
Keep your
How
pants
do
on.
we start now? Now that we've been given free reign, I don't even know where to start.
Yes.
Yeah. But that just speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean that. Can we just talk about his hair? Like how perfect his hair was?
Yeah, he didn't have helmet hair at all. Look, that looks very.
A little bit.
Very
It's like
solid.
so nice and wavy, and he wasn't bloody and
greasy.
injured this
Yeah,
time.
much better than last
And like
season.
you kind of want to run your fingers through his hair a little bit.
This is
just a
goes
little
back to,
bit.
this goes back
Just
to what
a
we were
little
saying
bit.
about Mandalorians in general, though. Like good Mandalorians never get helmet head. They always take it off, and it's perfect. Bo-Katan is an excellent example of that impossible haircut, right?
Oh yeah.
But like the bad Mandalorians are just a mess under there somehow. Like their own evilness just seeps through their pores and stinks up their helmet. Look at that. Though all of them, every single one of them. Like
It's perfect.
I have never ridden a bicycle and looked that good afterwards. Like, come on.
And not just Mandalorians, Cobb Vanth too.
Yeah.
Great hair under that helmet.
I know. I mean, look at him. Look at
Season
the hair.
of thirst.
wow.
Seriously, yeah. They're jealous.
That's
we
where
really,
the thirst
with Cobb
began.
Vanth in episode 1, we should have known what this season was going to be.
Yeah, can like you
We should
believe
have
that
known it
happened
was
this year?
nonstop
I just
thirst from
Feels
start
like
to
forever
finish.
ago.
That was like
Listen,
a
I'm just
million
gonna
years
say I
ago,
can't
but we
wait for
should have
the-
known.
I can't wait for the second wave of Mandalorian merchandise. It's gonna probably happen in like January, February. Because give me all the Cobb Vanth merch. Like I need it.
Did you
Oh my
guys? Okay, so
gosh.
I saw Entertainment Weekly. They're like, "Why does Mando have a mustache?" And I'm like, "Because he wants one."
Because he wants one.
I put on
There's-
eyeshadow and eyeliner to walk around the block. There is nobody out on my street. I do it
Yeah.
for myself. That's
Exactly.
why he's shaved. The mustache is for him.
I don't think that he can grow anything else. If you go back to a picture, there you go. He's got stubble around the rest of his face. Can we get the side shot? That, right?
Mm.
You can see, and he's definitely been in Slave One for a couple of days, so he hasn't had access to like his Razor Crest shaving kit. Officially his officially licensed Razor Crest shaving kit. So I don't think that he could grow a beard if he wanted to. So potentially the
No.
mustache is what he's got, and he knows what he's got, and so he's working it. Right? Like he's
No,
using what his
I
mama
disagree.
gave him. You
I
disagree?
disagree. Because I think if he had the full
Megan.
beard or
She's
whatever, it would
glitching. She's
irritate
coming
him
back.
under the helmet. But just a little bit of a mustache is like just enough for him to like, I don't know, feel a little fancy under his helmet, but like without a lot of maintenance required. And like Boba must have an extra shaving kit.
But
Because
he
he's
doesn't
not.
have anything to shave anymore.
Well, you know, maybe he just
that's
keeps
not a
it
good
well
one.
shaved.
Can we
His
talk for
eyebrows too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Can we talk for a quick second about the shower and general like personal hygiene that happens on Slave One while they're all traveling to wherever they're
Yes.
traveling? Because that's hot. That's a hot group right there.
It's a lot of
With
pretty.
the exception of one.
Yeah.
That's a hot
It is a
group right there.
mostly hot group.
This,
I don't.
this-
With the exception of
these
one,
three.
there's only 4 there. I think they're all
this
pretty.
this triad.
That's what I
is-
mean, right? With the,
Yeah.
with
These
the
three,
exception of
yeah,
one.
these three.
I'm talking about Bill Burr not being there. Obviously, the world between worlds
Mm.
is, it's fine. But
Yeah.
but yeah, these three, like, is there one shower on Slave One? Do they have to share it to conserve water? Like, how does that work? Is it a solo
Boba and Fennec
situation?
share a shower.
Does it also rotate like
yeah.
everything else?
Amazing.
I just want to say too, props to the casting director for this episode. I cannot believe they got somebody who looked just like Pedro Pascal. Incredible.
Right? It's
Incredible.
Especially
incredible.
after he quit the show and everything. That was really
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
just could not believe it. It's a great job. That was
really
that was
shocked.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like I don't know, people kept talking about like this change there was gonna be, like how it was gonna be so different in the next like half season. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. I didn't notice the change. Did you guys?
No, and I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but like Pedro has already cut his hair back to this length for all of his interviews for Wonder Woman 1984 right now, which tells me, you know, since they're filming The Mandalorian right now, that he's there and he's working.
You know, I have a
Yeah.
breaking scoop actually. So Baby Yoda, he the reason he wasn't actually in this episode is because Favreau and Filoni weren't giving him enough chicken nuggets.
Oh,
Oh,
my
So
God.
next
Walk off
episode, the next episode, you heard it here first. The next episode, and this is my reliable source. It's gonna be
Yes.
Baby Yaddle. It's gonna be a little different.
Okay,
He's gonna be-
Brad,
he's
you
gonna
need
be
to
red.
tweet that. The world needs to know.
He's gonna be red.
They
Yeah.
had a disagreement. Did he go off set again? Because that's what I started reporting is
Yeah.
that he found out that other people were actually getting paid,
Yeah, yeah.
and
No,
he
it's
wasn't
some
getting paid.
child labor laws right there
You-
for you. So
He was just getting macarons and chicken nuggets. And like,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then he found out like Pedro was getting paid money, and he
So-
was like, "I'm out of here."
Right.
I don't know. Screen Rant, write an article about it. You heard it here first. Just
Yes, exactly.
credit the
Really
the
good
show,
source.
so. Yeah.
So if it's
Yeah, our
if it's
source.
Baby Yaddle, is this the Yaddle Palpatine baby? Is this the one?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
he's
the
actually
one.
a Palpatine. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
Yaddle
Love
Palpatine.
child.
This
That's
is
the other
The Yaddle
thing.
Palpatine child.
this is Rey's cousin.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, also, I
Yeah.
just wanted to say, if you guys liked our PG thirst talk, next month we will be having
Oh, yeah.
Waffles After Dark.
It's
We will have an
happened.
official date for that later, and it will be Waffles After Dark Star Wars Fandom Edition.
I love
And it will be 18 plus. So,
Can you keep this up for a second? Because I just want to tell everybody what I said when I saw this. the
yes,
first
of
time,
course.
which is that I've seen far too much not safe for work Raylo fan art that the first time this flashed on the screen, I thought, oh, that's Ben Solo as a waffle. That was my
I
first
knew
thought.
ours you would
It's
love.
because he's
Oh,
a sexy
man.
waffle, right? So you instantly
Oh
thought,
man,
Adam
is he
Driver,
winking
right?
on the left eye? Is he?
Yeah.
yes, he's winking at you.
Of course he is.
Wow.
He's
Oh.
making eye contact.
Yeah. Put a scar like right down the one side of the face, so they just go full.
That can be for the night that we read some
yes,
Ben fic.
some fancy.
I mean, I think his good boy sweater and Tross was a waffle shirt.
To redo this art as Ben Solo and send it to me. My DMs are open.
Yeah, just for personal.
Just send it to all of us, please.
For science, yeah.
For science, I will put it up side by side with the waffle or something like. But if anybody would like to draw that, please send it to me. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Comments are wild right now. Oh my.
I know.
Oh no.
Spell my name right, Connor. Just like somebody else did today, who also called baby Grogu Groot.
Are we talking about Roberto?
Roberto, yes.
Right. Also, Connor, let's be real. If your breakfast isn't trying to seduce you, you're doing something wrong, right? Like, get it together.
My bowl of Mandalorian cereal seduces me every morning.
See? And I pick up the.
You went for it.
Oh man, I got nothing now.
Thank you, Connor. I appreciate it.
That was good.
Maybe he was just saying you can dance.
That's what everybody. When I danced for like 12 years. That's what they would always do, and I'd be like, "Excuse me, that's not my name."
Tiernan, you're coming on the episode.
Yeah, Tiernan, I actually DM'd you on Twitter about this, so I am.
Check your DMs.
Yeah, check your DMs. So slide into your DMs to talk about Waffles After Dark, because it's gonna get syrupy, guys. It's gonna get syrupy. So
things might get sticky.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna get sticky.
I wanted to make that joke. I'm like, I can't make that joke here, but
yes, you can. You will definitely be able to make it next month.
Well, I can make it then, but I can't make it now. But I guess I can.
So yeah, follow me on geeky_waffle to get updates for that. I'm gonna find the perfect date. It's probably gonna be late at night just to feel safer about talking about this stuff. And please feel free to drink if you're allowed to wherever you live. So Maggie, tell people where to find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Maggie of the Town and also on YouTube at youtube.com/C/Let's Talk About Star Wars. I'm also on the Star Wars Friends podcast, and you can find me writing at Your Money Geek and Dorkside. And don't forget to donate to Trans Rights or Human Rights. This is the Ray. Let's see if we've got any donations since we started this. I don't think I've got a notification, but no. So give us a donation so we keep going up because we were almost there.
Less than $2,000.
We can definitely do that. Arzu?
Okay, so you can find me on Twitter at Arzuamin. You can find me at my own site, arzud2.com. I have one more Star Wars book review left for the year. It's the last 3 middle grade books. And then I'm going to take a break before the High Republic. You can also find me on the Geeky Waffle podcast and writing at thegeekywaffle.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me on Twitter at A Larger View Pod, and you can find the show A Larger View of the Force pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. Apple, Google, Spotify, some ones I've never heard of that I'm on. So, yeah.
Awesome. You can find me at Brad Whipple or at Friends of Force on Twitter. Friends of the Force is pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. We do a Mandalorian show every Sunday. We have an interview coming up next week or the week after from somebody on the Mandalorian, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, Paddington 3, make it happen.
Baby Yoda's going to be in that.
I hope so. Yeah. Greatest crossover event in history.
After he quits Mandalorian, he's going to show up there.
Yeah, he's like, I got contracts already ready to go.
Yeah. I am Brad or Crazy Unky. You can find me on Twitter at Crazy Unky. And also, if you follow me on Twitter, you will see some news shortly about a new YouTube channel that I'm starting with my children in the new year called 1,000 Generations. We're going to follow my children as they discover all things geek. So Star Wars, D&D, any dumb, silly, geeky, nerdy thing. I have a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
We are going to have content for 3-year-olds. So, so that should be fun. So follow me on Twitter for news about that. That's going to be kicking off sometime in the new year.
And I just want to thank Crazy Unky again for Cobb Vanth, which has proven to be the greatest thing that I got this year. So thank you.
If you follow me on Twitter and I see that you post ridiculous desires for silly things, there is a non-zero chance I will buy them for you and send them to you just because I'm an enabler of those kinds of silly.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of you, Cobb Bantha has been staring at me every Saturday because he's
You're welcome.
looking into my soul right now. I'm not looking at Maggie when I look over in that direction. I'm sorry,
No.
Maggie.
It's
I get
okay.
distracted. But yes, thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And remember, trans rights are human rights. This is the way. If you can't donate, share. Just getting the word out. Thank you all.